I think that this album probably also feels very happy and confident and free, because that's the way that I get to feel every single day of my life, because of my fiance, who's here tonight.
When the iHeartRadio Music Awards brought together two of the most acclaimed women in the music industry, people everywhere tuned in, their excitement palpable, ready for a star-studded night. Rows of celebrities filled the venue in high-fashion looks, anticipation mounting as cameras panned over the expectant crowd. No elaborate rehearsal could have prepared anyone, however, for the authentic, unscripted exchange that would steal the world's attention the instant Taylor Swift's name was announced for the show's biggest prize. On this glittering night, as install-worthy performances dazzled the audience, and the event reached its emotional crescendo, there was Selena Gomez in the crowd, her every gesture transforming from quiet suspense to a level of raw elation that drew both headlines and hearts. There in that split second, as the applause erupted, flashbulbs punctuated the darkness. Selena's face turned from shock to radiant pride, and history was quietly made in the shared energy between two artists who have been through so much together. It didn't matter what statues were given out or who wore what. The observable bond between Selena and Taylor that night soared above the competition. The ensemble details of the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards were as dazzling as fans had hoped for. Velvet ropes, glistening credentials, entire squads hustling behind the scenes to keep the chaos masterfully choreographed, and feverish speculation circulating weeks before the show began. Would Taylor manage to claim the apex spot yet again? Could new faces surprising the scene create an upset? Or would this be the banner year for Selena, with rumors of her comeback album swirling relentlessly among music insiders? As the show edged closer to the grand reveal, an anxious thrill hovered in the air, audience members whispering and exchanging predictions. Not a soul could have forecast that the defining memory would hinge on the invisible threads of friendship, loyalty, and pride connecting two pop icons in the fleeting seconds after the envelope was opened. In the months preceding, Taylor had built momentum like few in modern history. Her record-shattering era's tour swept continents, crowd after crowd breaking attendance numbers, stadiums echoing her lyrics. Both her latest original releases and the reimagined Taylor's version albums blazed through the charts, moving millions, all while her debut as a director drew widespread rave reviews. Her activism, too, caught the wider industry by surprise, her outspoken defense of artists' rights sparking new debate and energizing campaigns across digital platforms. Taylor was familiar with big wins at iHeart, shown by her mantle crowded with earlier trophies. But this year, those in the industry noted, her competition had sharpened considerably. Each award felt hard-fought, each success hard-earned. Yet it was perhaps the uphill grind, the battles to shape her sound, the risk in each public reinvention, the courage to share her doubts, that made her eventual win all the more resonant. Backstage, the mood was taut as the most desired category approached. On the arena floor, high-decibel conversation faded to a barely there hum as the host, card in hand, made ready to announce the winner. Those few seconds stretched endlessly as cell phones hovered, fans pressed silently forward, and every eye scanned for the slightest reaction. Then in an electrifying snap, Taylor Swift's name filled the room. A supernova of cheers followed at once. What happened next was captured not just by the official cameras, but by dozens of phones, fans, and even crew who instantly recognized a moment worth preserving. The lens didn't focus first on Taylor, but spun toward Selena Gomez, and it was her reaction that flooded social feeds within minutes. Her hands flew to her mouth, caught midway between awe and laughter, while tears threatened to break loose before she managed to stand, lifting her face in a giant, beaming smile, so genuinely joyful it seemed to stun even her. This wasn't forced politeness or the neutral clapping celebrities offer one another on routine nights. It was, by all appearances, a friend's love shining through decades of shared struggle, achievement, and the rare kind of resilience forged only when challenged repeatedly by fame. As Taylor stood up and reached toward the stage, she made brief contact with Selena, an embrace lasting only seconds but thick with significance, the kind that reminds longtime fans of how much terrain these two have crossed, together and separately. Subscribe if you're moved by friendship at the pinnacle of global stardom. Even as Taylor made her way through the crowd, camera flashes mapping her journey, Selena remained the emotional epicenter, her eyes still bright with unsuppressed tears, cheering boldly, unconcerned about masking affection or vulnerability from the world. Spectators in the arena and viewers at home knew they were witnessing something real, a core of mutual belonging, built on more than a decade's worth of shared hopes, doubts, and laughter, and shining at its warmest in public moments when support matters most. So often audiences at televised awards grow numbed to the orchestrated applause, the cutaway shots, expressive yet practiced acceptance speeches, and hypermanaged sentiment. This was something else entirely, a reminder that beneath spectacle, stars are people, with fragile hopes and ties that bind long after the lights have faded. The hug exchanged as Taylor brushed past Selena's table was nothing if not sincere. After Taylor's speech concluded and the program moved along its allotted schedule, keen-eyed fans noted how Selena's support did not flag. She continued standing, hands clasped and lips trembling, honoring her friend's win with an infectious delight that spilled out beyond the event itself, driving hashtags and trending videos that raced across the internet. What propelled this moment into the public's collective consciousness wasn't simple celebrity. It was the visible evidence of hard-earned trust. These two artists, inextricably linked by their early careers, have pressed onward through eras of seismic change, public heartbreak, resounding comebacks, and private health battles, their friendship evolving under the glare of millions of eyes. Subscribe now for more legendary music award moments. As frequent as pop music headlines churn with rivalry and gossip, Taylor and Selena's story has always seemed, to viewers at least, grounded in something both hopeful and sincere. A sisterly alliance that refuses to fracture despite rumors or the relentless schedules of international fame. From shared interviews and inside jokes to crossover performances and steadfast defenses in interviews, their ties have grown richer with each challenge. Taylor's public gestures, inviting Selena to stand by her at concerts, acknowledging her presence in liner notes, and using billboards and songs to broadcast support, have been mirrored by Selena's unfailing loyalty and gratitude in the hardest of times. The roots of this connection stretch back to their first joint appearances in the late 2000s, instantly captivating observers who longed for stories of female solidarity in a business infamous for its competition. Across multiple awards seasons and intersecting personal lives, both women gave credit to the friendship for keeping them afloat. Milestones and birthdays became occasions for tributes wrapped in heartfelt humor or subtle acknowledgement of past hardship, both artists using their platforms to lift one another and, by proxy, the hopes of their global fan bases. On the night Taylor won, these shared memories were foregrounded without a single word. Selena's joyful tears, the fierce pride in her eyes, the obvious depth of gratitude, each moment playing out in the glare of TV lights, served as proof that their history ran deeper than the usual celebrity camaraderie. The impact was immediate. Social channels glowed with clips of the win, then with endless replays of Selena's reaction. Listeners and viewers chimed in, recounting their own best friends and the rare power of honest, public support. Both professionals and scholars weighed in as well, noting how unusual it is to see such authentic celebration between female icons at such a highly visible juncture, particularly in a culture so tuned to narratives of rivalry. Recaps and commentary reproduced the most poignant expressions from the night, emphasizing the way joy and uncertainty are shared among those who believe most in each other's journey. Over in the press room, Taylor's speech capped the night with humility and gratitude, shifting from the customary thank yous to a broader appreciation of the creative community surrounding her. She acknowledged her fan base for sustaining her through changes and risk, while pivoting, her words focused, to recognize fellow artists as a force for inspiration and courage. Surrounded by legends and rising talent alike, Taylor mused aloud about the patience and faith that creativity demands, her gaze locking on Selena as she expressed direct, heartfelt thanks for being the voice of belief during times when she doubted herself. Subscribe if you believe in real friendships that survive the glare of fame. Near the end, Taylor's tone grew playful, promising not to rest long on victory, but to return to the studio, eager to write the soundtrack for everyone's lives.